Hello, second grade. So today we are going to start this geometric form drawing. And the two learning objectives we're working on today is to identify and use geometric shapes and identify and use geometric forms. So what we're going to do is take a flat 2D geometric shape and turn it into a three-dimensional geometric form. So the way that you start this, you're going to start with a big white piece of paper, and you need to write your name and the day you have art. Day A, day B, day C. You're going to flip it over, and then you're going to use the geometric shape patterns to trace on your paper. They're going to overlap. You're going to have some in the back, some in the front, and you get to decide which way you lay them. So if we look back at my first example, my finished example, I have my cone standing up, my cube standing up, and my cylinder standing up. But maybe you want to lay your cone laying down or your cylinder laying down. You get to decide. So I'm going to go ahead, since my finished example has the cone and the cylinder standing up, I'm going to do them laying down so you can see what that looks like. So the first thing that I want to do is trace my geometric shapes. And I don't want to push too hard when I trace that. So since I'm going to make my cone lay down, I'm going to take the side of my triangle and lay it flat, parallel to the bottom of my paper. And I want to lay it like this because it would just look crooked, like it's falling. So I want it to look like it's laying flat on the table. So I'm going to carefully trace around this very lightly. And to save me some time, I'm not going to trace the bottom of the cone, the part that's curved. I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to draw the curved line. And you could trace that line, but then you'd have to go back and erase it. So it's up to you. Whatever is your process that makes it easiest for you, that's what you can do. So if it makes it easier for you to trace that line, then draw the curved line and erase the straight line, that's fine. Maybe I'll do my cube next. Now, the cube can be the trickiest. And I think maybe I'll put my cube up here. And again, I'm making sure the bottom of it is parallel to the bottom of my paper, not crooked, so it looks like it's falling, so that it's straight up and down, sitting on the table, the imaginary table. And with the cube, you trace all four sides of your square. And then you can decide, as your cube going, you're going to see the left side of the cube or the right side of the cube. I'm going to do the left side of my cube. So I'm going to draw 3 diagonal lines that go up and to the left. They're diagonal, they go to the left, but they also go up a little bit. Then I'm going to use my rectangle as a ruler to draw the straight sides of the cube. So I just line up the ends of those lines, and I look at the side of my rectangle with the side of the square to make sure it's not crooked. I try to make that nice and straight. So you can see how much extra of this line I'm going to have to erase, and that's okay. So I have quite a bit of that line to erase. But better to draw too much line that you can erase later than not enough. Okay, I think I'm going to put my sphere up in the front here, maybe overlap both the cube and the cone. You trace all of the circle, and then I'm going to make the circle be in front, so that means I need to erase what's behind there. So that's part of the cone and part of the cube. And then I'm going to do my cylinder laying down as well. So this time, I'm only going to trace the long sides of the cylinder because I know that the short sides, I add ellipses and curved lines. I'm also not going to trace the part of the long side of the rectangle that's inside the cone. So I'm only going to trace this part here, and then this little part here, and then all of the top long side. So when you do your cylinder, you're only tracing the long sides of the rectangle. And then again, you're going to do a curved line on one side, just like you did for the cone. And then on the other side, you're going to do an ellipse. You're going to do a curved line, and then reverse the curved line to make an ellipse shape. So now I have essentially 3 geometric forms and 1 geometric shape, because the circle is still a circle and will stay a circle and a geometric shape until I shade it to make it a geometric form. So now we're going to shade everything with hatch marks. And you get to decide, are you going to shade everything on the left-hand side, or are you going to shade everything on the right-hand side? Because you have to think about the sun shining and the sun cannot shine from two different places. We only have one sun in the sky, so it shines from one place and then everything is shaded. So if you have your sun shining from the left, then everything, you're going to cast shadows on the right hand side of everything. If you have your sun shining on the right, everything will cast shadows on the left. Or if you want your sun to shine from the top of your paper, you would shade the bottom of everything, every geometric form. I'm going to make my sun shine from the right, and I'm going to shade on the left hand side. So the first thing I'll do is the sphere, and you're going to do curved hatch marks. If the surface of the geometric form is round and curved, you have to use shading hatch mark lines that are curved so that they show the person looking at your paper, the viewer, that the surface of this particular item is curved. So I curved my shadows, my shaded hatch mark lines on the left hand side. On this, the cylinder, this part, the top part of the cylinder, well, it's the side because it's laying down, that's flat. You have to think of like a soda can, and the top of the soda can is flat. So I'm going to do straight hatch marks. Nice, neat, straight lines that stay within the space. If I accidentally go outside the space, then I need to take my eraser and erase those little bits of lines that go outside the space. Now, if we go back to my first paper with the cylinder was standing up and I was shading on the right-hand side. This surface of the cylinder is curved, so those hatch marks were curved. So keep that in mind. If you're shading the long side of the cylinder, you're going to curve. But if you're shading the ellipse, it's going to be a straight line. All right, the left side of my cone, I'm going to do curved lines because these two sides of my cone are curved. Well, this side is curved too, so the surface of the cone is curved, so I have to do curved hatch marks. I start at the edge of the cone and I draw repeated curved lines inside the cone. To keep them all the same length and about the same curvature. And then for my cube, all surface area of the cube is flat. So anywhere I shade is going to be straight lines. And since I'm shading on the left, I'll shade the left side of this cube and it's going to be straight lines. It's going to look like stripes almost. Right, and this is almost finished. So now what you're going to do, the very final step I want you to do to make your paper stand out and your drawing stand out, is I want you to take a pencil and press really hard and follow the outline of your geometric forms. So we took flat 2D geometric shape patterns and we used those to draw 3D geometric forms. Very carefully go back, press hard with your pencil, and go over the outline. You don't need to go over the shaded lines, the hatch marks, the shadows, but I do want you to go over the outline to make it look just a little bit neater. Whenever you work with graphite and you set your pencil down, the side of your hand gets a little dirty. Try not to drag your hand across the paper and smear that graphite from your pencil. But if that happens, you can always get an eraser and erase any smear marks you make. And there you have your finished geometric form drawing. Good job, second.